So, what's going on here is, let me zoom in a little bit. I got this area too dark, and I want to lift some of that color back out of there. So what I'm going to do is get my paintbrush wet with just a little bit of water. There's just water on there. And I'm going to just pull some of that back out just by wetting it with a damp brush. Fortunately, it's the side of a mountain, so if it gets a little bit of texture, it's not the end of the world. And I don't want a really wet brush, just damp. And see, I'm just lifting some of that color right back off there, because it just got too dark is all. It is in deep shadow, so I do want it dark, but not quite as dark as I make it. Now I'm going to switch brushes to a slightly smaller one. Just keep doing the same thing. Damp brush, clean water on the brush, and just a little bit of lifting. Now also, keep in mind, this was bone dry before I started working on this like this. You can't lift while it's still damp. So once you realize you've got a problem and you need to fix it like this with lifting it back off, you have to first let it dry the whole way. And I'm just using these bristles right along the edge there. Right up in that edge with the smaller brush. And use the clean water just to lift that color right back up off there. So as you can see, I'm just moving the paint around on the paper here, actually. That's what I'm doing at this point. Some of it, when I've got too much in the brush, and it's not doing what I want to do, then I can just wipe it off on the paper towel. But then also, I'm just able to just move this paint around. I'm moving the pigment is what I'm doing. And I'm ending up with something that looks more like what I wanted and gives the shape that I wanted to the shadows and to the dark areas that are in the painting. Because I'm just using the bristles right at the tip of the brush here, I can get in there and get finely detail it, and I want to keep that paint from piling up right along the edge and making the piece look like it's outlined. I don't want it to look outlined in the dark color. So I use the bristles right up at the edge and lighten that edge a little bit, and then just smooth the paint out. Because my brush is damp and because I've dampened the paper and it has loosened the pigment a bit, so now I can move things around and it isn't too dark anymore. It's a little dark on that edge. Let's see if I can move a little bit of that back from that edge. Again, this is in the shadowed area, so it's a really contoured area there in the mountain. You have no idea what it's not a flat surface. Everything in that shadowed area is not flat, so it's okay if it's not solidly smooth, and some areas are a little bit darker than others. I just don't want a really dark part right along the edge. I'm kind of feeling like this is still just a bit dark here, so I'm going to see if I can move some of that a little bit more, just moving it back from the edge. I like that much better than it was. So there's what I have. Ready to continue working on the trees in this area.